Andy Roddick makes rare public apology to Steffi Graf following honest slip. I made the mistake in tennis. Debates about the greatest of all time are as endless as they are passionate. Fans, pundits, and former players revisit the topic constantly, weighing eras, surfaces, rivalries, and raw numbers. But every once in a while, even the most experienced voices pause, reflect, and correct themselves. That's exactly what Andy Roddick did recently, offering a rare and heartfelt public apology to one of the sport's most revered legends. Steffi Graf. Graf's name is synonymous with dominance. Her rise began in earnest with her breakthrough victory at the 1987 French Open, a triumph that signaled the arrival of a generational talent. Just 1 year later, she achieved something no player, male or female, has ever replicated: the Golden Slam. In 1988, Graf won all 4 Grand Slam titles and Olympic gold in the same calendar year, a feat that still stands alone in tennis history. Yet despite this extraordinary resume, Roddick admitted that he had unintentionally failed to give her due weight in a previous GOAT discussion. That a moment of reflection on served. Roddick's admission came during an episode of his popular podcast, Served, where the former U.S. Open champion frequently dives deep into tennis history, culture, and debate. While revisiting past conversations about greatness, Roddick stopped himself and acknowledged a glaring omission. Steffi is the warmest, nicest person, and by the way, as we're talking through these marches through history, and I made the mistake of the recap show, Roddick said candidly, referring to an earlier episode where her name did not receive the prominence it deserved. That it was not a defensive clarification or a half-hearted correction. Instead, Roddick leaned fully into accountability, something rare in GOAT debates, which often double down rather than step back. She's a GOAT. No qualifications needed. Roddick didn't just apologize. He reframed the conversation entirely. He emphasized that Steffi Graf should never be an afterthought when discussing tennis greatness, regardless of era or gender. Like any conversation that talks about historical context and winning Grand Slams and winning the Grand Slam and all that, Steffi needs to be top of mind all the time. I'm guilty of it. She's a GOAT, he said. That final line, she's a GOAT, carried weight. No caveats. No comparisons required. Just a straightforward acknowledgement of Graf's standing among the absolute elite in tennis history. The numbers that still stagger beyond emotion and respect. Roddick also pointed to the cold, hard statistics that reinforce Graf's legacy. Her dominance wasn't just historic, it was efficient, sustained, and overwhelming. You look at her win percentages when she retired, and what her Grand Slam count was. She retired 8 or 9 years before Serena did, Roddick noted. That detail is crucial. Graf retired in 1999 with 22 Grand Slam singles titles, a record at the time. Serena Williams would eventually surpass that mark, but only after nearly a decade of additional play. Graf's career winning percentage, weeks at world number 1, and ability to dominate across all surfaces underscore just how compressed and devastating her peak truly was. Why Steffi Graf sometimes gets overlooked. Ironically, Graf's quiet excellence may be part of why she is occasionally underrepresented in modern debates. She competed in an era before social media, before 24/7 sports cycles, and before constant highlight culture. She wasn't known for theatrics or outspoken rivalries. She let her tennis do the talking. Players like Serena Williams, Martina Navratilova, and Chris Evert often dominate contemporary discussions, and deservedly so. But Graf's blend of power, footwork, mental strength, and versatility redefined women's tennis and set the blueprint for generations that followed. Rare and meaningful apology. What made Roddick's apology stand out was not just the content, but the intent. In a sport where legends are often defended or dismissed based on era loyalty, Roddick chose humility over pride. He acknowledged a blind spot, corrected it publicly, and used his platform to reset her one of the game's foundational figures. In doing so, he reminded fans why these conversations matter. Not to diminish anyone, but to preserve the full scope of tennis history. GOAT debates continue to rage on. One thing is now crystal clear in Andy Roddick's mind, and increasingly in the broader tennis world. Steffi Graf doesn't just belong in the conversation. She sits firmly at the very top